July 4, 1776. 13 colonies on the eastern coast of North America declare independence from the most powerful empire on Earth, Britain. Today we know the United States as an economic, cultural, and military superpower. But what if that revolution had failed? What if King George III's troops had crushed George Washington and America had stayed a British colony? In this video, we're not just asking the question, we're imagining an entirely different world, more British, less democratic, and with a balance of power that could have changed even the world wars. Ready to step into an alternate timeline? The American Revolutionary War officially began in 1775, though tensions had been simmering for years. The main cause? Heavy taxes imposed by London without colonial representation in Parliament. No taxation without representation became the rallying cry. At first, the colonists stood little chance. The British army was the strongest and best trained in the world. The American rebels were poorly equipped and barely organized. George Washington, chosen as commander, kept the Continental Army alive only through immense sacrifice and crucial French support. The turning point came in 1781 at Yorktown. With French naval help, Washington's troops surrounded the British. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris recognized the independence of the 13 colonies, creating the first United States of America. But let's rewrite history. What if Yorktown had gone the other way? Imagine Washington captured, the Continental Army destroyed, and France giving up on the war. No independence, no constitution. The colonies remain loyal to the crown. What would British America have looked like? First, London would send massive reinforcements to crush any future rebellion. Local governors would be replaced by men loyal to the king, and resistance would be brutally suppressed. Without a declaration of independence, there's no 1787 constitution, no Bill of Rights guaranteeing freedom of speech, press, or religion. Instead of an elected president, we'd see royal governors and a political system like Canada's, a local parliament with limited powers always under London's control. Westward expansion would slow dramatically. Instead of racing beyond the Mississippi, colonists would be forced to honor treaties with native tribes and the French in Louisiana. London wanted colonies to produce wealth, not spark endless frontier wars. Would also change. In the 1800s, millions of Germans, Irish, and Italians came to America for freedom and opportunity. But under British rule, many might have chosen Latin America or Australia instead. Cities like New York, Boston, and Philadelphia would stay deeply British, with a stricter, more hierarchical society, less open to innovation. Economically, the colonies would remain tied to London's interests. America would keep exporting tobacco, cotton, and timber, but wouldn't develop its own industries. The American Industrial Revolution, which turned the US into an economic powerhouse in the 19th century, would never happen. Think about Benjamin Franklin. Instead of becoming a founding father, he might have been exiled or even executed for treason. And what about Jefferson, Adams, or Patrick Henry? Their names could have vanished from history, erased by British victory. But the impact wouldn't stop in America. It would reshape the entire world. Without the American example, the French Revolution of 1789 might have been far less radical. French revolutionaries drew directly from the American Declaration of Independence. Without that inspiration, King Louis XVI's monarchy might have survived longer. No guillotine, no reign of terror, maybe no Napoleon, at least not so soon. Meanwhile, the British Empire, already powerful, would become unstoppable. Controlling all of North America, Britain would have vast resources and unmatched military strength. France, Spain, and the Netherlands would lose any hope of challenging it. In South America, Spanish and Portuguese colonies might never have won independence. The entire continent could have stayed under European rule for decades or even centuries longer. Now jump to the 20th century, the age of superpowers. In our world, the United States became the greatest industrial power on Earth and played a decisive role in both world wars. But in this alternate timeline, America is still a colony. In World War I, Britain would have more troops and resources, but without an independent US economy, there'd be no massive American loans to speed up victory. In World War II, without an industrial United States, who would have stopped Nazi Germany? Could Britain have fought alone at an unbearable cost? What if Hitler had conquered Europe, or Stalin had spread communism unchecked? A world without an independent United States would be far more British, but would it be less free? Modern democracy, civil rights, and much of today's technology might never have developed as we know them. So, who do you think would have become the world's superpower? Britain, France, Germany? Tell us in the comments. I want to hear how you imagine this alternate world. And if you enjoy these journeys into what-if history, make sure to subscribe.